Alright everyone, so Boruto chapter 75 has officially been released and I'm here to give you guys my review. Before we do, as always, I do have to ask you that if you want to show your support for the channel, please consider leaving a like, sharing this video out there, hit the subscribe button if you're new, ring the bell for notifications, and please comment down below with your thoughts. I really want to know what you guys thought about this chapter because this was a very information heavy chapter. We got answers to a lot of questions that the fandom have been asking for a while. Mainly, what exactly is Amado's motive? Why is he doing what he's doing? Why did he go work for Ishiki? What is his ultimate goal? Why did he restore Kawaki's karma mark without his knowledge? Well, we get answers to that question here in this chapter, and we also get some other bits of information that are pretty big. The first thing that I do want to talk about in this chapter is this new Otsutsuki that we are introduced to, Shibai Otsutsuki. And we are told that this is an Otsutsuki who did what Ishiki told Code to do, which is harvest the chakra fruit, consume it, become an Otsutsuki, and continue to do so across multiple planets until you eventually become a god. Well, apparently this one, Shibai Otsutsuki, did actually manage to achieve that goal. And according to Amado, this dude was so damn powerful that all he has to do was just wave his hand and scream and he could basically cause natural disasters, which if that's the case, then that makes him pretty damn powerful. And Naruto and Shikamaru are even seen sweating and they're asking, well, okay, where exactly is this Otsutsuki now? Which does kind of make sense because you would think that after getting done dealing with someone like Ishiki, hearing that there's another Otsutsuki out there who's apparently possibly even more powerful, you're gonna start sweating a little bit. But Amado tells him you don't have to worry because he's no longer with us. Apparently, according to him, this dude, by becoming a god, he apparently discarded his body. He apparently became so powerful that he doesn't even need a body anymore. But Shikamaru also throws the possibility in there that maybe someone actually managed to kill him. And Amado says, yeah, I mean, it is possible that someone killed him. But personally for me, I think it's a little unlikely. I mean, if this dude really is as powerful as Amado's saying he is, then I don't think that someone was actually able to kill him, excuse me. Even if they do manage to sneak up on him, I don't think that they would actually be able to kill him, kind of like what Kaguya did against Ishiki, where she took him by surprise and was able to leave him damaged to the point where he needed to take refuge inside of Jigen's body. Personally, for me, I do think it's the first thing that Amado mentioned, that he became so powerful that he ended up leaving his body. And he does state that we actually do have access to that body, and it's because he has access to that body that he was able to essentially do what the Konoha Shinobi did when Hashirama Senju died, which is that they took his DNA and tried to graft it onto other people to see if they could give them access to Hashirama's power, because Hashirama Senju, if you remember, was incredibly powerful, and if they could give someone else access to that power, then you knew they were going to do it. But they ended up making those experiments illegal because everyone that they experimented on ended up either dying or something even worse, so they made the experiments illegal. However, Amado says that when he created Ada and Damon, when he turned them into cyborgs, he used that Otsutsuki's DNA as kind of like a binding agent, which actually explains how they became so powerful. And he straight up says that those abilities that Ada and Damon have, Ada's ability to essentially enchant people around her, and her Senrigan, and Damon's ability to reflect everything, all actually originally came from that Otsutsuki god. So that does explain why Ada and Damon again are so damn powerful, because they were given DNA from this insanely powerful Otsutsuki god. Now we do have to ask the question of how exactly did Amado gain access to this body in the first place? I mean, Jigen, is he the one who gave it to him? And if so, then how did Jigen manage to gain access to that body in the first place? And if they did have access to that body, then why didn't they just feed that to the Ten Tails? Like, why do they need Kawaki and Boruto as sacrifice? Why did Jigen need to feed himself to the Ten Tails in order to grow the chakra fruit and use Kawaki's karma that he gave him in order to resurrect himself? If that's the case, if all they need is the body of an Otsutsuki, then you would think that the body of this Otsutsuki specifically, who managed to grow so powerful, would be perfect as a sacrifice to the Ten Tails in order to grow a chakra fruit. So there are some things that still need to be answered, because there are some things that don't really make a lot of sense when you really think about it. So there we go. We do have an answer as to why Ada and Damon specifically are so powerful. Even after Code unlocked his limiters, he still didn't have enough power to be able to take on either Ada or Damon. It's also revealed that Shibai Otsutsuki, his abilities are specifically classified as divine abilities. So we get introduced to a brand new type of ability in the Naruto universe. So we have ninjutsu and senjutsu, and now we have shinjutsu, or divine ability. And according to Amado, what classifies as divine ability is any ability where you don't really need hand signs to be able to perform them. So he says abilities like Kawaki's Sukuna Hikona Daikokuten that he inherited from Ishiki, and Ada's Senrigan, and Damon's ability to reflect all attacks, abilities that don't require hand signs, are abilities that classify under divine ability. And he even goes on to state that what shinobi do, ninjutsu, where they use hand signs, is essentially just a way to imitate what divine ability allows a person to do. And when we get to this point in the manga, we see Sarada even chime in, and she's the one who accuses him, who says, so are you saying that what we shinobi do is just a pale imitation of what the Otsutsuki are capable of doing? And Amado says, look, I didn't mean any offense, I'm just stating a fact. I mean, you don't have to get pissed off at me. And when we see Sarada and Mitsuki, we also see Ada, or excuse me, not Ada, we see Delta show up, and Sarada asks her, well, why the hell are you here? And she says, I'm just here to see Delta, or I'm just here to see Ada. And apparently her enchantment still works on her even after she's been gone for a while now, and she insists on going to see her. But then Sumire shows up and says the shutdown code, and Delta is essentially put to sleep. So it's not one where Amado needs to be the one to say it in order for the command to work. Just anyone who says it and the command will immediately work, which, if that's the case, I mean, that does kind of suck when you think about it, that anyone can just say a word and automatically you're put to sleep. I mean, I don't know if I would want to be in that position, or I don't even know if I would want to put anyone else in that position, because that does kind of suck when you really think about it. And when we see that, we cut back to the room where Naruto, Shikamaru, and Amado are, and Amado even specifically goes on to say that karma also falls under divine ability, and he needs the karma because that's the way for him to bring back his daughter. So here is where we get the answer to why exactly is Amado doing this? What are his motivations? Why did he go through all this trouble? And his main motivation, his goal, is to bring back his daughter who died a long time ago. So just like what he told Naruto, he did indeed have a daughter, and she did indeed pass away, according to him, 12 years ago. Now, his daughter died of a disease, and it's those, it's that usual unknown anime disease that they don't really specify what it is. It's just a disease, and it was enough to kill her. Just like how it was the disease that killed Itachi. We don't really know what the disease actually was. We just know he had it, and it was killing him slowly over time. And Itachi did everything he could to prolong it in order to ensure that his plan for Sasuke actually came to fruition, although that kind of did end up failing. So his daughter does indeed die, and we get the revelation of what her name actually is, and it's Akebi. That's her name. Her name is Akebi Sanzu, apparently, because Amado's last name is Sanzu. So when he tells us his story, it's revealed that Amado tried to find a cure for her disease, and the other doctors initially did try to find a cure, but they eventually end up giving up. And Amado realized that instead of trying to find a cure, I'm going to try to bring her back another way, and that's by cloning. And that's what Delta is. Delta is a clone of Amado's dead daughter. So again, if you're one of the people out there who predicted that Delta is Amado's daughter, then this chapter does indeed confirm that. However, he goes on to say that when he cloned her, even though she had her memories and her consciousness that he was able to digitize, it still wasn't actually her. He goes on to say that every time he looked at her, every time he talked to her, he could tell that it wasn't actually her. And he kept trying over and over again, but no matter what he did, it just didn't work, until eventually he broke down and accepted that his daughter was just gone and she's not coming back. However, at that moment, that's when Jigen showed up. and essentially made him the promise that if you help me, I will give you what you want. I will give you your daughter back. And that's how he ended up working for Jigen. But then, of course, he realized that what Jigen's plan was, or what Ishiki's plan was, is to, of course, cultivate the divine tree and then essentially take all the chakra that exists in this world and all the people who have chakra in them. It'll all be taken, of course, by the divine tree and put into the chakra fruit. And he realized that even if I bring my daughter back, I'll be bringing her back to a dead world. So what would be the point? And that's when he came up with a plan to put a stop to Ishiki. So that's why he ended up betraying him. At least that's what he's telling us now, because something happens later on in this chapter that does kind of reveal that, okay, Amado's still hiding something. Because afterwards, Shikamaru talks to Ada and asks her if she could use her Senrigan to confirm whether or not what Amado is telling us is indeed true. And Amado, of course, is a little insulted. And Shikamaru says, dude, I mean, the only reason why I'm not trustful of you is because of you. You're the one who kept being untrustworthy. So don't criticize me for not trusting you due to your own actions. I mean, come on. Shikamaru asks Ada if she could use her Senrigan to check whether or not Amado's story is indeed true, and Amado is insulted because he's wondering why Shikamaru would question his story. And Shikamaru goes on to tell him that, dude, you only have yourself to blame. You're the one who kept acting shifty. You're the one who kept hiding things. So me being mistrustful of you is due to your own actions. Like, these are the consequences of your actions. And yeah, I mean, you can't blame Shikamaru for not being trusting of Amado. So yeah, I mean, he really only has himself to blame. So Ada does use her Senrigan to check her, or to check Amado and see whether or not his story is indeed true. And while that's happening, we get this moment between Boruto and Momoshiki where they're talking. And according to Momoshiki, the reason why they can do this now is because when Momoshiki used the remaining data of his karma to restore Boruto's missing organs, it created a stronger connection between the two, and now they can talk to each other and even read each other's thoughts. And when Momoshiki is talking to Boruto, he says that there's something about Amado's story that doesn't line up. And Boruto initially thinks that it's the mention of the Otsutsuki god, Shibai Otsutsuki. He says that, yeah, that seemed a little fishy. And then Momoshiki goes on to say, no, I'm sorry to say, but that part is indeed true. Shibai Otsutsuki did indeed exist, and he really is no longer in this world. So apparently this dude evolved to a point where he's not even in the plane of existence that Momoshiki is in. So yeah, I mean, this dude is dangerous. And I do have some thoughts about Shibai Otsutsuki specifically, but I'll save that for its own video. But he goes on to say that the thing that doesn't line up about Amado's story is him saying that Ada's ability to enchant others around her falls under divine ability. And Boruto asks him, well, what do you mean by that? And he says that I'm familiar with all Shinjutsu. I'm familiar with all of the divine abilities, and there absolutely is no ability that allows you to enchant other people around you. And Boruto says, well, why would he lie about that? Momoshiki says, well, that's the question. Why would he lie about that specifically but tell the truth about everything else? And then Boruto, when he's about to ask more questions, he immediately gets access to something that I don't think he was actually meant to see. So we cut to a panel that closes in on Boruto's right eye, and it turns into Momoshiki's Byakugan. And there he gets to see a glimpse, and we also get to see a glimpse of the future that Momoshiki saw, that he was talking about all the way back in the Versus Momoshiki arc. We get to see little glimpses. We don't have full context to what's going on, but we see a shot of the Hokage Stone Monument, specifically focusing on Naruto's Hokage Stone Monument, and then it cuts to a bunch of Leaf Shinobi saying that, where is he? Did he manage to escape? And then we cut to Team 10 with Shikadai specifically saying, hey, that's not what a friend would do. And then we cut to Team 7, specifically Sarada saying, hey, I found him. And then we cut to the first appearance of Sage Mode Mitsuki in the manga. We've seen him in the anime, but we've never seen him in the manga. And Mitsuki specifically says, you have managed to truly anger me. And then the last thing we see is a shot of Kawaki with his ninja tech arm, and he's got the karma mark on, and he's even got the Otsutsuki horn out, and he's got blood on his face. Now, I've already seen a bunch of people say that, oh, this is it. This is the moment where Kawaki gives Boruto that scar. That's why he has blood on his face. Like, that's what's going on. And a lot of people are wondering if maybe this is the moment where Kawaki attacks Boruto again and tries to kill him, because remember, Kawaki was already suspicious of Boruto because he saw Momoshiki in the Hokage office, and Momoshiki himself even says, just don't let Kawaki catch on to the fact that we're talking, because I'd rather not deal with him again, because Momoshiki knows that right now he doesn't have the power to stand up to Kawaki. If they were to fight again, Kawaki would indeed kill him. So yeah, Momoshiki, I do like the fact that he is becoming a lot smarter than he was before. He's not as arrogant as he was when he first showed up. He's actually learning to not underestimate these characters, to not underestimate humans, because they do have the ability to stand up to these Otsutsuki gods. I mean, it may be difficult, but look at what happened with Ishiki. Momoshiki himself thought that he didn't think it was possible for them to take him down, but it happened. His soul is gone. So yeah, Momoshiki is not underestimating them anymore, and I do kind of like what they're doing there. So yeah, I mean, that's the vision of the future that's been hinted and teased at us for such a long time now. Me personally, I think that it's possible that we're being shown a red herring, as in I think that they specifically showed us those panels because they knew that that's the conclusion that a lot of people would jump to immediately, that Kawaki attacked Boruto, he gave him that scar, that's the reason why he's got blood on his face, he found out about Momoshiki, and the others are of course trying to stop him, and him realizing that it doesn't matter, like, whether this is Boruto, Momoshiki is still there, he's still a threat, he needs to be taken care of. I think that that's the conclusion that a lot of people were going to jump to immediately when seeing that, and I think that the writers may have known that. I think Kishimoto knows that, and personally for me, I think that when we do get to those events in the story, it might not play out exactly what a lot of us think it's going to play out. That's just my thoughts, but I could be wrong. Maybe it really will be what a lot of people think it is. You know, maybe it really will be Boruto was taken over by Momoshiki again. Kawaki ends up finding out about Boruto's stronger connection to Momoshiki, which would make him think that then that means that Momoshiki is even more of a threat than before, so it needs to be taken care of. But that's just me, guys. Of course, I do want to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know, what do you guys think is going to happen in that future? Do you really think that it is what we were originally shown? Do you think that Kawaki really did find out about Boruto's stronger connection to Momoshiki, and he does indeed try to attack him, and the others are trying to stop him, of course? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. And guys, while you're here, please consider leaving a like, sharing this video out there, hit the subscribe button if you're new, ring the bell for notifications. I do apologize again for not posting as much as I used to. There was something else that kind of needed my time, so I've been a little busy and kind of away from the channel, but I am indeed going to come back and I'm going to start posting again. So once again, apologies for not posting for a while, apologies for not interacting with the channel as much, but again, I am going to come back to it now that that's been resolved and taken care of. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please look forward to my review of Sasuke Retsuden Chapter 3. Thank you guys so much again, and I'll talk to you then. Bye for now.